think. Yeah, I think right there will be good.
All right.
I think I've got it. Get this over. Okay.
You'll,
So tell me who you are and where you're from and how you came to be associated with this project.
all right. Well, my name's Curtis Ingvoldstad, and I'm from Nerstrand, Minnesota, which is a little Norwegian farming community down kind of by Northfield. I just moved there recently. Um, this project was proposed to me back in December by Erica Bailey Johnson. And she had told me about some trees that had been taken down to put in some astroturf for the football field, and they were looking to repurpose them and make something kind of cool out of them. And she wondered if I'd be interested in that. And I said, that's right up my alley. That's what I do. So we talked about the possibilities, and I asked him if there was something that she wanted to see or the university wanted to see, and they really liked these shoreline totems that I've done in the past, and these shoreline totems just represent kind of just a realistic view of Minnesota animals, as realistic as I can portray them, but really clustered together, so that you get all these things that possibly could be on the shoreline, all grouped together. So there are yeah, he's got a good sounding vehicle.
Okay, so shoreline totems. Just kind of explain how you've done those in the past or what they're about.
All right. Well, I carved these Minnesota shoreline totems, and they just represent the shoreline you might see along the river or any of the lakes in Minnesota. And what I do is I just organize them around a tree that comes down to a shoreline, and then throughout the tree there's raptors up on top and birds, and then there'll be maybe some furry creatures in the middle that you might see, like a bear or a raccoon, and then down towards the bottom there'll be herons, and of course for this one there'll be a beaver. There's got to be a beaver for this one. And then underneath the shoreline I do kind of the underwater stuff, and there's usually a lot of the fish everybody loves, from Minnesota, like the sunfish, the pike, and then the walleye, of course.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about the process for this particular totem, how you planned it out, and what goes into the process of figuring out what's going to be in the wood when you're done.
Well, my process kind of revolves around really crude, rough drawing that's to scale, but it doesn't tell you how the totem's going to look. It just tells you where things would be in the totem, and then I give myself some room just in case I want to change things around. But what it does is, when I come up to the tree, the actual piece of wood, then I'll mark off just the feet, so 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, all the way down, and then with my scale drawing and that, I at least have kind of a road map, and I can keep myself kind of honest and in proportion, and at least I know the main thing is, like, the shoreline's going to be at 5 feet, and I know the bottom of the bear in this one's going to be at, I think it's around 7 or 8 feet, and so I just kind of have these guides so that I know as I'm carving, I just don't get carried away and start elaborating into areas that will cause the next things down not to be able to fit. So that's kind of how it works.
So as you're working on these, how much of it is work that you've planned out in advance in terms of where the animals are going to be positioned and how they're going to look, and how much of it is just what the wood is telling you as you're carving?
Well, my goal with every carving is to have an inspired piece that's carved. So I want all the dynamic, kind of artistic, mental energy to happen on the wood while I'm carving. And I want the drawing only to be enough for that to happen. And I only want to, and I'll do research on the animals, I'll get photo references of things that I'm doing or whatever it is, the subject matter. And then when I get to the tree, I feel a little anxious, I feel a little pensive, but I feel inspired by the whole process usually, and having talked to all the people involved, and then there's kind of an overwhelming community aspect with this one too. But I take in all of that, and then that's what I want to come out just at the time the saws fire up, and that's my goal. I have somewhat of an idea what's going to happen, but I really want to find things out, the specific details, as the carving unfolds on the wood itself.
Okay. So talk to me a little bit about how this project has gone and what point you're at, and what still needs to be done to get it finished up.
Well, it's been, the community here is pretty cool actually, and so the project itself, I feel like I'm kind of uplifted by all the well-wishers and everybody that's kind of fed into the making of this, and all the people that made this happen, down the line. I mean, so it's gone, everything's gone really smoothly to this point, as everything's just kind of blocked in and chainsaw carved in, which is kind of my first step, is to just place everything. And then once I get down to through the bottom of this tree, I'll start going back up and just refining everything all the way back up. So the process kind of goes in that direction. But right now, I haven't screwed anything up, so we're in a good spot, right? That's good.
All right. Well, I'll let you get back to it. That gives me what I need.
All right.